All right, here's something to sit with. What if the universe's code isn't hidden in distant galaxies, light years away, but quietly pulsing inside your own mind? Science aims its telescopes outward, searching the stars, but maybe, just maybe, the most profound mystery of the cosmos is happening within you, right now. Joe Dispenza believes your brain is a reality-shaping engine, a biological antenna that can literally tune in to the quantum field. Alan Watts, on the other hand, chuckles softly and says, "You already are the universe. Relax." Two minds, two paths, one mystery.
And trust me, stick around till the end of this episode, because we've got a little surprise waiting for you. Something to help you feel what both of these cosmic thinkers are really pointing at. So let's dive in and see where you land.
Okay, let's dive in. Imagine this for a second. What if the fundamental code of the universe, the really deep stuff, isn't some equation floating out there in space, but something much closer, like tangled up right inside your own head?
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Or even wilder, what if you aren't just in the universe? What if you are the universe, kind of? Waking up, trying to remember itself.
Wow, yeah, that's a powerful way to start. And it really sets up the core tension we're digging into today based on our source material.
It does, doesn't it? We've got these two, well, fascinating perspectives trying to unlock this whole mystery.
Exactly. You've got Joe Dispenza coming at it from neuroscience, suggesting your brain actively builds your reality.
Right, the idea that you're in the driver's seat, shaping things with your mind.
But then, almost as a counterpoint, you have Alan Watts, the Zen philosopher.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, hang on, maybe the real freedom comes when you realize you already are the whole show, the cosmos.
Yeah.
And the trick is to, let go of trying to control it.
Our source material actually calls it a cosmic clash, doesn't it? Or maybe a cosmic war, science versus spirituality, trying to figure out what's ultimately real.
That's the frame.
Yeah.
But our mission here in this deep dive is maybe to look beyond that clash. We want to unpack the core ideas from the sources, really get into what Dispenza and Watts are saying.
Compare them, see where they align, where they diverge.
Exactly. And figure out what insights they offer you about consciousness, the universe, and importantly, your place in it all.
We're going to touch on some practical tools from the science side and some pretty profound intuitive wisdom from the philosophy side. So stick with us because it leads to some surprising places.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how you relate to reality itself.
Let's see which set of ideas resonates most with you as we go.
Okay, so maybe start with Dispenza, the neuroscientist perspective.
Good idea. His whole foundation is, well, it's rooted in neuroscience and his interpretation of quantum physics.
He's definitely the science guy in this comparison. And his central idea is pretty revolutionary for a lot of people.
Which is?
That the brain isn't just, passively soaking up reality like a sponge. He argues it's the absolute key.
The key to unlocking the universe's potential.
Precisely. Because it has this incredible ability to actively shape the reality you perceive, the one you actually experience day to day.
And the science he points to for this is neuroplasticity, right?
Exactly, neuroplasticity.
Right.
Which is, it's solid science now. The idea that your brain isn't fixed, it's constantly changing, physically rewiring itself.
Based on what? Our thoughts, feelings.
Your thoughts, your experiences, where you put your focus, the emotional states you keep returning to.
Yeah.
All of it physically changes your brain structure over time.
So with Dispenza, it's really interesting here. He takes that idea and suggests that every thought isn't just like a mental blip. It's a signal.
A signal that starts building things.
Yeah, like building neural pathways. So if you keep focusing on a certain goal or possibility, you're literally structuring your brain to align with it. The source had a great analogy.
Yeah.
It said, your brain is like an antenna.
Okay.
And the universe. A radio station broadcasting infinite frequencies, infinite ranges of reality. Your thoughts and feelings tune the antenna.
That's a helpful image.
Yeah.
And he connects this neuroplasticity to his concept of the quantum field, to taking it even further.
Right. It's not just thinking positive thoughts.
No, not just that. For Dispenza, you have to bring the body into it, specifically through what he calls elevated emotions.
Like gratitude, love, things like that.
Exactly. Gratitude, love, joy, awe.
Yeah.
These high-frequency feelings. He says when you combine a clear intention, a specific thought about what you want, with these powerful emotions.
They create a coherent signal.
That's the idea. A coherent signal powerful enough to access this quantum field.
And this field, in his model, the source called it a cosmic Netflix.
Huh. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like a realm where all potential realities exist simultaneously, like shows waiting to be streamed.
And your signal, the focused thought plus the strong emotion is like hitting play on one of those realities.
You got it. You're not necessarily creating it from scratch, but more like selecting it.
Yeah.
Tuning into an existing energetic blueprint in that field. That's the insight there.
And he doesn't just leave it as theory, he offers actual tools,
Yeah.
right? Practices.
Oh yeah, very practical. The main one being his heart-brain coherence meditation.
Yes. That's central to his workshops and books. It often involves specific breathing patterns.
Right, like that slow, rhythmic breathing, maybe inhaling for 6 seconds, exhaling for 6 seconds, that kind of thing.
And you do that while deliberately feeling those elevated emotions, gratitude, love, whatever it is.
Correct. You're consciously generating the feeling state while calming your physiology, bringing your heart rate into this smooth, coherent pattern.
So the insight behind that technique, in his view, is that this state synchronizes the heart's powerful electromagnetic field with the brain's activity.
Creates a stronger signal, more coherence.
And it's the signal, he believes, that lets you kind of bypass your everyday reality, your past programming.
And connect directly to the information and energy in the quantum field.
Yeah.
Making things like manifestation or even significant healing possible, according to his work.
And he backs this up, right? With stories from workshops, people reporting big changes.
Thousands of testimonials,
Yeah.
And he also uses data like heart rate variability graphs, showing that physiological shift into coherence during the meditations.
You can see the appeal. It feels scientific-ish, right? Actionable.
Definitely. The source calls it a scientific map for creating your reality. It puts the power squarely in your hands. Focus your mind, elevate your feelings, change your life.
His core message, I think the source quoted it as, your mind can access the quantum field to create reality.
It's very empowering. You're the architect. Here are the tools. Go build.
But, and here's the turn, is all that focus, all that effort to build and control, maybe missing something deeper?
And that's the perfect cue for Alan Watts. Because he steps in, looks at all this striving, this mental architecture.
This effort to shape reality.
Yeah, all of it. And he essentially asks, hold on, what if this whole project of controlling reality with the mind is just, well, an ego game?
A game that reinforces the idea that we're separate.
Exactly. Reinforcing a sense of separation that, from his perspective, isn't actually the fundamental truth.
That feels very zen, getting past the striving self. Watts has that amazing metaphor, you don't come into the world.
You sprout from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but also deeply insightful.
It's not just poetry, it changes everything about how you see yourself in relation to, well, everything.
The insight is profound. You're not an outsider who arrived here. You're an expression of the universe itself. Like a wave isn't separate from the ocean. It is the ocean waving.
Or a leaf on a tree.
Right, you're intrinsically part of it all.
So if that's true, then liberation for Watts isn't about gaining more control.
Quite the opposite. It comes from realizing that oneness, seeing through the illusion of separation, and crucially, stopping the effort, stopping the trying, the striving to be something other than what you already are.
He uses those simple, almost obvious analogies, doesn't he? Like, a wave doesn't try to be a wave.
It just waves. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Or the sound of rain. It doesn't need an audience or applause. It just falls. It's perfect as it is.
The insight being that the striving, the effort to force things, comes from feeling like a separate me who needs to fix things or achieve something to be okay.
Precisely. It stems from that illusion of being a separate actor who needs to manipulate the stage.
Watts suggests that awakening, that realization of your true nature being one with the cosmos, happens when?
Paradoxically, it often happens when you stop seeking it, when you stop trying to attain it through mental gymnastics or techniques. It's more like a falling back into what's already here.
It's such a contrast to Dispenza. Dispenza gives you tools, techniques, things to do to access a reality.
Right. Active creation.
Does Dispenza's path of focused intention resonate more with you? Or does Watts' surrender to the flow vibe feel more aligned right now? Tell us in the comments, which team are you on? Team Dispenza or Team Watts?
And if this journey through mind and mystery got your neurons firing or your soul nodding, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and share this episode with someone who's ready to dive deeper into the universe within.
While Watts implies that the very act of doing, of striving, of trying to control, That's the barrier. That's what keeps you from realizing the reality you already are.
Which leads us right into comparing them more directly. And the source material really leans into this interesting tension. What if? What if they're both right and both wrong somehow at the same time?
Huh. Yeah, I like that. They offer such different paths, don't they? One says, grab at the steering wheel.
Learn how to drive this thing. That's Dispenza. He gives you the map, the techniques, how to use your brain and intention, like the controls of a car.
While Watts says, wait, maybe realize you are the road.
Exactly. You're not a separate driver navigating something external. You're the fundamental reality itself, the fabric the journey unfolds upon. The insight there is that the need for control dissolves when the sense of separation dissolves.
You see it in their methods, too. Dispenza offers tools, concrete techniques, meditations you can practice, maybe even see physiological changes from.
Measurable, repeatable, at least in theory.
Whereas Watts offers an attitude, a shift in perspective.
Yeah, more like a state of mind, a state of being, or maybe non-being. It's not really taught step by step, it's realized. It's an experiential shift.
The insight being that you can't just think your way into Watts' perspective, you have to kind of feel it, realize it directly.
That seems right. But even with these big differences, there's common ground, isn't there?
Definitely. Both seem to point to consciousness, our awareness, our inner world as the key link.
Yeah, consciousness as the bridge, or maybe the lens, through which we engage with the cosmos, or realize we are the cosmos.
Which loops us back to that really potent question from the source, using those metaphors, between controlling the dream.
And realizing that you are the dreamer. Which path would you choose?
And this isn't just navel-gazing, right? This matters because these are two fundamentally different ways to live your life.
Absolutely. Different ways to relate to challenges, to your potential, to the whole universe.
Dispenza offers that path of active creation. It's about agency, using your mind and body deliberately. The insight, your internal state, creates your external world.
Very empowering for many.
And Watts offers a path of, well, peace, acceptance. Finding freedom by realizing you're already part of the perfection of it all, even the messy parts.
The insight there being that maybe the struggle to control is the source of suffering, not the external circumstances themselves.
So this feels like a good point to bring you, the listener, in more directly. As you've been hearing this, which perspective is resonating more with you right now?
Yeah, where do you find yourself leaning? Does that idea of being the architect using these focused techniques,
Yeah.
does that feel right? Are you maybe Team Dispenza, the scientist, the builder?
Or does the sort of wisdom of letting go, of realizing you're already connected to everything, does that feel more like the path to freedom for you? Are you more aligned with Team Watts, the philosopher, the realizer?
Thinking about that, maybe even sharing your thoughts with us or others, it actually helps us understand what really clicks with you.
It helps us know what kind of deep dives are valuable, and it helps others who might be asking the same questions find this conversation.
So please, do let us know.
Yeah.
Which approach speaks to you more strongly? What insight maybe jumped out?
Okay, so just to quickly recap this deep dive, we've looked at Joe Dispenza neuroscience, quantum field, using intention and emotion to shape reality.
Active creation.
And contrasted that with Alan Watts' Zen perspective, letting go of control, realizing your inherent oneness with everything.
Acceptance and realization.
Boiling down to that core choice, or maybe tension. Controlling the dream versus realizing you are the dreamer.
And let's leave you with this final thought, a real head-scratcher from the source. What if you could experience both right now?
Ooh, that's provocative. Is that even possible?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Is there a way to integrate these, to be an active participant, maybe using some of Dispenza's focus, while simultaneously knowing yourself as the whole thing, as Watts suggests?
Can you hold both? Does one feel more useful or true for you now, even if the other might later? Or is the real wisdom found somewhere in navigating that space between them?
Something to chew on.
Definitely. So mull that over. Let us know your thoughts. Team Dispenza, Team Watts, something in between. What resonated? Your engagement really fuels these explorations into consciousness and the universe. Keep digging into these ideas yourself.
So, are you the builder or the being? Maybe both? Or maybe something in between?
Yes, tell us. Are you hashtag Team Dispenza, the conscious creator, or hashtag Watts, the enlightened wave? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs this conversation in their soul. Here at the Quantum Soul, we're not just exploring the cosmos, we're realizing we are it.
Leave us a comment below. This community thrives on your reflections, and someone else might need to hear exactly what you share.
And hey, if this episode sparked something in you, give it a like. It really does help us reach more curious minds like yours. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. New explorations drop every week here at The Quantum Soul.
Right now, you'll see 2 videos on the screen. One takes you deeper into Joe Dispenza's techniques for tuning into the quantum field. The other is a guided experience inspired by Alan Watts, designed to help you feel that deep, effortless connection with all that is.
Choose the one that calls to you and keep exploring. Your journey through consciousness and the cosmos is just getting started.